Starscroft, if, say, the fraud squad were to investigate these accounts, what would they find?
Oh, nothing irregular, I can assure you, Mr. Anderson. You see, the payments in question are spread over these annual accounts of 7 of your companies. They don't show.
422,000 in cash doesn't show.
Well, no one, excepting ourselves, of course, really knows the actual turnover. That's because of the nature of your business. It's not something that should be repeated at too frequent intervals, naturally.
All the money is accounted for?
Yes, indeed.
And everyone is paid?
Yes.
Good. Well, then, our little business is now concluded.
Yes, indeed. Now, if you will just sign here and here. I don't think there should be any complaints from the Commissioners of the Inland Revenue.
You've done extremely well, Mr. Oscroft. Thank you.
Thank you. Good day. Good day, Miss Miller.
Clever chap, that. Should go a long way.
He has gone quite a long way already.
Right. Known facts. Tyzak, he got 30,000. And the conman, Barry Porter, got 25. Good pay, that. And the bent security bloke, 25. And then the gunman, Freddie, the one who went off his nut. Well, I'm not sure how much there was in that panda, but 5,000.
It was a bit mean, wasn't it?
Well, not being in the union, he wouldn't know the correct market price, would he? Then there are the suspects. The pilot, the controller, all that lot. Now, Goodwin's hotel costs 25,000, so put them all in at that. That makes about 7 on top whack and say 15 at the lower rate. And add about 100,000 for unknowns.
Not far off 400,000. Not cheap, is it? How the hell do you get hold of all that cash if you don't rob a bank?
A bookie.
Is that what old Krabby Craddock thinks?
You wouldn't call him that to his face, so don't you call him that behind his back.
They're saying in the bar that the chief has thrown him off the case.
If you want to stay on it, you just stop picking up bar gossip. He's already been driven half mad by the likes of you losing Eddie Macon for a start. And when he comes in, you'll want those reports all nicely set out, so get cracking.
Robin? Dad didn't say he was going to be late, did he?
No.
Mr. Oscroft home?
No, I'm afraid he isn't.
Then I'll wait.
Mom?
It's all right, dear. It's only someone to see Dad. Look, I don't know what time my husband will be home. He may be quite late.
That's all right.
Someone to see you.
Hello, Squire.
Oh, who the hell are you?
Terry Lardner. You remember.
Come outside.
What's this, an invitation, then?
We'll discuss it outside. Now, you've got a damn nerve coming to my house. What do you want?
You owe me £500 due 2 weeks ago. Do you remember?
I told you on the telephone, Lardner, the money's not through yet. There's been a delay.
That's your problem.
You'll have it next week.
I don't want it next week. I want it now.
But that's impossible. I haven't got it now.
You'll have to do better than that, Oscroft. I know people like you. You always carry readies.
Whatever you find in there belongs to my clients.
You'll have to borrow it from your clients. Won't be the first time. Always put it back.
If you'll just be patient.
I'm not a very patient chap. I've got aggravation. I want the money now, Oscroft.
All right, 50.
100.
50.
And how do I get the rest?
On Monday. And don't ever come here again.
Thanks, Squire. Always knew you as a gentleman.
He didn't touch you, did he?
No. What did he want?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
But of course it matters.
Oh, look, just let's forget it ever happened.
That's all very well for you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, will it soon be finished?
Very soon, I promise. Where's Robin?
In his room.
Did you see that man come in?
Oh, yes.
Robin? Here.
What is it?
It's good luck for the exam. Go on, take it.
I don't want it.
Please. I'll wait for you after.
Well, it's no use denying it, Robin. The school phoned your mother this afternoon. They were very worried about you. But is it true you didn't answer a single question?
Oh, don't pester the boy.
I'm not pestering him. I just want to know what happened, that's all. Oh, come on, Robin. What's on your mind? Well, is it some trouble with a girl? That girl you've been seeing lately, what's her name?
Leslie.
Let the boy speak for himself. Well, is it her? Oh, come on, you can tell me. Now, don't laugh at me when I'm talking to you.
I wasn't laughing at you.
Look, I think we'd better leave this until another time.
No, we'll settle it now. Now, look, I've always been fair with you, Robin. We've had no secrets. I want to know why 4 years at a bloody good school went down the drain today.
Didn't go down the drain. It's nonsense to say that.
Oh, is it? You think they'll let him take his A-levels now? He'll have to wait another year. He'll never get to university now.
He's only just 17.
Well, it's the waste. Waste, that's what I can't get over. There are boys who'd give their right arm to be where you are, Robin, and you throw it all away. And I have to be honest with you, I'm very disappointed. Very.
Anyone would think you'd failed the bloody exam.
Oh, Robin, he didn't mean it. He only wants to find out why.
Well, he doesn't have to look very far, does he?
Haven't put the fire on, stupid. Aren't you going to take your coat off?
Where's your dad?
Playing darts over at Tooting.
Darts?
What's wrong? His team's in the final.
Does he always go out and leave you?
Of course he does. I'm not a child.
Well, suppose he comes back and finds us.
Suppose he does.
Well, I mean,
We're only talking, aren't we?
yes, but...
You won't be back for ages. They stop on drinking. Sit down with your cocoa. So what's it about, then?
What?
The exam. That's what you've come round for, isn't it? To talk about it.
No, not really. I came to give you this back.
Oh. Wasn't much good, was it?
No.
Couldn't you do it, then?
Do what?
The exam. Everybody knows about it. Freddie Stone said you only wrote one sentence.
None of his business.
Couldn't you really do it?
Of course I could. I just didn't feel like it.
Didn't feel like it?
Oh, lay off me, will you, please?
Of course, you know what I think. Think you had a nervous breakdown. Only a slight one. But it's quite common if you work too hard or in love or something.
Yes. That's what my dad thinks.
Well, you remember Susie Bryce? She had a crush on Peter Farrell when she did her exam and she couldn't spell her own name.
Well, she was pregnant, wasn't she?
No, she wasn't.
Well, it's nothing like that with me.
What is it then? Tell us. It's always better if you tell someone.
A man came round to our place last night and demanded money from my dad with menaces.
What did your dad do?
Gave him the money.
Just like that?
He had to. He was scared.
What did the man do?
He pushed off.
What does it mean?
Well, it's obvious, isn't it? It's blackmail.
Blackmail?
Must be.
Your poor dad.
Why?
Well, I mean, it's horrible.
It's his own fault. You don't get blackmailed for nothing. He's been on the fiddle, and this bloke's found out about it. And he's paying him off with money he's pinched from the firm.
I can't believe it. Not your dad. I mean, the times I've met him is not like
Oh,
that.
you don't know anything, do you? You can't judge people by the way they look. I mean, I didn't even know. And it was obvious. This house we've just got. He couldn't afford that. Not on his salary.
Do you think your mum knows?
She must do. He'd never keep a thing like this from her.
What'll happen?
I don't know. If he's caught, he'll go to prison.
Prison?
I don't care.
Robin, you do as your own father.
What's that got to do with it? He's a climber, that's all he is. He's not interested in me. He only wants me to do well so he can take the credit for it. Well, he's had it now, because I'm not going back to school. Not after this.
What do you mean?
I'll get a job.
Don't be stupid. You've got your A-levels to do. You can't muck up your life just to spite him. It's you that matters in the future, not him.
Oh, leave me alone, will you? I wish I never told you. You'll only go and tell everyone else.
Oh, I won't, Robin. Of course I won't. I love you. I've told you for ages. You know I have. I won't tell. I promise you I'll never tell a soul.
Leave him to me. Robin, we've got to have a talk, haven't we? Look, I know what's upset you. Well, at least I think I do. It's Dad and that man, isn't it? You heard them talking. Look, I don't know what you heard, but it's not important. The point is that you know that Dad is in trouble. That's where we got to start from, isn't it? Oh, please, Robin.
How long have you known about it?
Well, not long.
Did he tell you?
Yes. I don't know all the details, but I know that it's about money, and I know that he's being used.
You kept it to yourself pretty well.
Well, I didn't want you to know.
Thanks.
But that doesn't mean that I didn't feel anything. I can assure you it was just as much of a shock for me. But it didn't stop me loving him. In fact, I saw that he hadn't even really deceived me. I've always known certain things about him.
What things?
Well, the struggle he had as a child. Lack of money, lack of any real affection.
Oh, Mum.
No, I'm not trying to excuse him, but it is a fact. What he's achieved, he's done by himself. No one has ever helped him. And I think that he's got into this partly for us. To spare us that kind of life.
No, he didn't. He did it for himself.
You're wrong.
If he really cared about us, he'd never have put us in the spot we're in now. We're accessories, we are. Just being here, in this house. Our clothes, our car. We're cashing in. And don't tell me you don't get a kick out of it, because I won't believe you.
It might help if we both of us stopped thinking about ourselves and started thinking about your father.
Why?
Because we're a family, Robin. He needs our support.
Suppose you found out he was molesting little girls. Would you support him then?
Robin.
It's the same thing.
Well, if that's your opinion. I just wanted to explain my side of things, that's all.
Look, Mum. There was a boy at school last summer, Philpott. The night before his A-levels, he was caught in the common room where the exam papers were kept. Now, everyone thought it was a big joke, but I thought it was stupid. Once you start cheating, you've got to go on with it.
I think Dad's learned his lesson.
What do you want me to do?
Well, just talk to him. Tell him you still love him.
Shall I see him now?
No, tomorrow. Talk to him tomorrow.
I told Leslie. I told her.
Still asleep. I gave him one of my pills last night. I don't think we ought to disturb him. I'll ring the school later and say that he's not well.
What does he really think? Do you know?
He thinks the same as I do, darling. And we both love you. How many times do I have to tell you that? How bad are things?
Well, they're not too bad.
I don't understand how Lardner ever came to know of your private address.
No, nor do I. He must have rung my office and someone must have told him. They've strict instructions not to.
That's a very unfortunate slip in security. Why hadn't you paid Lardner? You told me everyone had been paid.
Well, it must have slipped my memory. It was one of the smaller sums.
Lardner's wanted by the police for that Gloucester car auction job last autumn. Did you know that? Yes, of course you knew that. You thought Lardner wouldn't be in a position to claim his last installment, so you spent it. Didn't you, Mr. Oscroft?
It's no good coming to us for help unless you tell us the truth.
Yes, well, I'm in some financial difficulties just at the moment.
What kind of financial difficulties?
Well, I'm in debt. I owe a lot of people a lot of money.
How much?
12,000.
What happened to the 15,000 we paid you?
Well, it was all owed, one way and another. I've just bought a new house. I've had a great many expenses.
You could mortgage it?
It is mortgaged.
Life insurance?
Cashed.
What is it, Mr. Oscroft? What's the real trouble?
Well, I've been speculating on the stock exchange. I've been rather unlucky.
Gambling? Really? Surely, Mr. Oscroft, you've done my business accounts long enough to realize that gambling only pays one way.
Yes, but it's not only the money. If Lardner ever touches my wife, I think I ought to go bankrupt and face the consequences honestly. And then Robin, it's ruining his future. And this damn girl has told her.
Girl?
Do you know he walked out of his exams the other day?
What girl? Well, what girl? Shop girl? School girl? Call girl?
It's a schoolgirl.
What do you know about her?
Well, I've only met her 2 or 3 times. I thought, well, to be quite frank, I think my son could do better for himself.
Name?
Leslie Biddulph.
Background?
Quite ordinary. She lives on the housing estate near us.
Are they having an affair?
I don't know. I doubt it. Well, she's only 17 and Robin knows how to behave. What should I do about it?
Nothing. If she cares for him, she won't betray his trust.
And even if she did, who would believe her?
Oh, I hadn't thought of it like that.
No, of course you hadn't. Now, about your going bankrupt, I think that would be very foolish. And really quite unnecessary. You're a very clever man, Mr. Oscroft. You're a brilliant accountant. Well, I wouldn't have asked you to work with me if I didn't know that. Well, don't tell me you can't make certain arrangements in your own firm with your clients to ease the situation.
Well, I don't see what.
Cook the books.
But I'm a partner. I couldn't. Couldn't you lend me the money? All on percentage? Well, it wouldn't mean anything to you, and perhaps as an advance against future services.
Who ever mentioned future services? Besides, I don't lend money to anyone, ever. Now, just think about it rationally.
Well,
Who will ever find out before the end of the next financial year?
All right.
Good. Well, that's settled then, isn't it? And remember, I'm always here to help.
Thank you.
Oh, and Mr. Oscroft, if you should have even the shadow of an idea that it might be possible to put pressure on me in some other way, I would strongly advise you to forget it. Because in that case, what might happen to you hardly bears thinking about.
Pity. We can never use him again, Victor. Why don't you just let him go bankrupt?
Because that would involve my name. No. I think the safest place for friend Oscroft is behind bars.
He'll talk.
No. Not the way I'll arrange it.
I should have thought the safest thing for Mr. Oscroft was a little accident.
Joe, this man has a unique talent for bookkeeping. Might be extremely useful to us in the future.
Victor, the man's going to pieces in front of your eyes. It's now we've got to worry about.
My darling Joe, success means having the right talent available at the right moment. And that's why we'll put Mr. Oscroft on ice. Just for a year or two. He must be accused, tried, and convicted on some quite other charge. Why don't you call on the girl?
So what's the trouble, Leslie? Have you and Robin had a row?
No.
I expect you've got a pretty good idea of what it is, though.
Why don't you ask Robin?
The school think he's upset enough already. That's why friends can be so helpful.
Robin hasn't said anything to me, probably just sort of nerves.
Well, we feel this is something rather different. Possibly a family thing. Robin's got A-levels coming up and we want him to have every chance.
You're still going to let him take them in spite of...
Goodness, yes. If we can get him right in time. I knew a boy once who was taking his exams. Suddenly smashed up all the desks and the blackboard in his classroom.
Why?
His mother. She'd taken a dress from a store without paying for it. The father found out, and for 2 solid weeks this boy listened to them rowing about it. Finally, the father took the dress back. I admired him for it. Took a lot of guts. The mother was up in court, but the judge gave her a conditional discharge.
What happened to the boy?
He was right as rain. So, you see, it's always best to get the truth out into the open. Now, I'm not suggesting this has anything to do with Robin's mother.
It isn't anything to do with his mother.
Father.
I can't tell you, I promised.
Of course you did. But you do want to help Robin, don't you? Are you very fond of him?
Yes.
You love him? And he loves you?
Yes.
Tell me then.
No, I couldn't. He'd never trust me again.
Now that's where you're wrong. I admire your loyalty, but can't you see Robin needs your help? Subconsciously, he's asking you to help him. That's why he told you about his father. You don't want to lose him, do you?
His dad might get into serious trouble.
What sort of trouble, Leslie? You can tell me. I don't tell tales.
He's being blackmailed.
Blackmail? Oh. Well, then it's the blackmailer who'll get into trouble, isn't it? They're sure to catch him, and you'll be doing Robin's father a service. The law's on the side of victims of blackmail, you know. He'll be known as Mr. X and allowed to go free in all probability. You must tell the police.
Police? Oh, I don't like the police.
Leslie, that's rather silly. The police are there to protect people like you and me. And Mr. Oscroft.
Look, I think I should talk to Robin first. Tell him what you said.
Leslie, I took you for an intelligent girl.
What do you mean?
Well, I think if he gets the idea that some interfering school busybody's been round here asking you questions and putting ideas into your head, he's going to blow his top. No, it's got to come from you. Your initiative, and that alone will do it. That's what he'll respect you for, and be very grateful for when it's all over. In this way, you can prove to Robin that you're really worth his trust.
Will it really help his father?
It will. It will, believe me.
I'll take your queen if you do that.
Oh, yes.
Put it back.
No, I took my finger off it.
Go on, it won't make a game of it otherwise.
I think I'm going up to bed now. Don't be too late.
Well, what have you done today?
Nothing much. Sat around and slept mostly.
Feeling better?
Not too bad, considering. You?
Oh, I'm all right.
As a matter of fact, Leslie came over after school.
Yes, her mother told me.
You don't have to worry about Leslie. She won't talk.
Well, why did you tell her?
I don't know.
You in love with her?
No.
But she's in love with you, is that it?
Well, a bit. I think she's a bit infatuated.
Have you been to bed with her?
Of course not. She's just a kid.
Well, what exactly did you tell her?
Nothing much. Only about the bloke coming. I don't know anymore.
Would you like to know about it?
Only if you want to tell me. You're in check, by the way.
Oh, yes. Well, it's your game. I'm not in the mood for it.
Look, Dad, I'm sorry.
Well, what for?
For mucking everything up.
Oh, don't be such a bloody fool.
What do you want me to say? The head wants to see me tomorrow. I won't tell him anything. I'll say I overworked. I had a blackout. I won't give you away. I promise. Oh, Dad, don't do that. Look, honestly...
Now, go away. Go to bed, please.
Wonders never cease. The Swiss police have come up with a report at last. Oh, sent by ordinary mail, not Interpol. It's in German. But from what I can decipher, they've found a witness who saw a low loader with a sort of tent affair on top leaving Bâle Airport on January the 14th. Look, they sent a sketch.
Yeah.
That's quite clever. You get the security van inside and take the whole thing down after.
Yeah. You going out there, then?
No, it's not worth it. Just a straw. Something to give me hope.
Well, I've got a straw myself.
Yeah.
Well, it's quite an extraordinary story in some ways. Di Neath from Wimbledon. It's quite a mate of mine. It seems that last night a young girl came in when Di was on duty, very nervous. She came to say she was worried because her boyfriend was upset, couldn't do his exams.
Oh, that sounds familiar. Didn't his father understand him? Now, look here, Tommy. Is this another moral tale?
No, it was because his father was being blackmailed. And John, the boy's name is Oscroft. Now, Oscroft is a name on that confidential list I circulated to all CI departments.
Oscroft? Don't remember him.
He was the accountant who helped Tom Goodwin, the pilot, to buy that hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And the one the girl mentioned is an accountant, too.
You're not a bad policeman sometimes, you know. You practice what I preach.
You want to talk to the girl?
Me? No. It's your straw. Besides, this needs to be discreet. My face is getting too familiar about the place. Your witness, Sergeant Thomas.
Oh, well, just have a sniff round then.
Yeah, nice and quietly. Whatever you do, Don't let this Oscroft smell gold.
You see, I thought about it very carefully. Robin couldn't do it. I mean, he just couldn't. Not his own father. But he would have liked to if he could.
That's what he told you, was it?
No, but subconsciously he wanted me to do it. Do you understand? That was the only way he could get himself free. Through me.
And you thought all this up for yourself, did you?
Well, yes, really.
It was your decision. No one helped you with it.
Well, I did discuss it with Miss Williams.
Oh, Miss Williams.
She's a psychiatrist. Robin's school sent her round to talk to me to see if I could help. What they call a psychiatric social worker.
Psyche. We didn't have those in my day. Is there anything else you want to tell me, Leslie?
No, I don't think so. Oh, except Robin mustn't know, or his parents.
We never divulge the source of our information. Don't worry about that.
Robin's been through such an awful time. I just wanted to help him.
It's certainly the same Oscroft. He's a salaried partner at Enfield and Lewis.
Oh, good. Well, that confirms it. Then. Do you believe this child's statement?
Perhaps we ought to ask Oscroft.
Not me, you. I'm not running this case on my own, you know. Hello, Mr. Necros. Sorry to trouble you again. This is Detective Chief Superintendent Craddock.
Well, who told you this pack of lies? Well, it's pure fabrication, the whole thing. Sort of poison pen stuff. I could have a waiver it was up for libel.
We never divulge the sources of our information, I'm afraid, Mr. Oscroft. But perhaps whoever it was might have meant it kindly. I mean, if it were true that this fellow came here and you were being blackmailed, then the police exist to protect people like you from men like that.
Well, I'm not being blackmailed. And I don't need your protection, thank you very much. If I'd needed it, I'd have asked for it.
Oh, well, that's fine, then. Sorry to have troubled you. Thank you for a very nice cup of tea. Oh, I hope the school psychiatrist was some help to your son in his exam problems.
We haven't seen a school psychiatrist, nor has Robin, as far as I know.
Oh, I must have got the wrong end of the stick. I thought he was having a bit of trouble.
Well, he is, but...
Oh, well. Thank you. Goodbye.
Hi.
Didn't I tell you not to say anything to them, didn't I?
I'm sorry, darling, but it's no use lying about Robin.
I don't know what he was talking about. Psychiatrist. Well, who could have told them? Who would have told them all this? If it's Robin trying to be clever...
So silly. Of course it wasn't Robin. Must have been Leslie.
Well, I'm going to get hold of Robin and take him round to that little mischief maker. I'm going to knock their damned heads together.
I wouldn't. That was a nice man, I thought. And we may need help from the police. One day.
Hello. What have the police been doing around here?
Oh, it was just about an accident I witnessed.
Come on. Come and help me with the washing up.
That damn girl. I suppose the police will be watching me now.
Why should they? Now, really, you mustn't get a persecution complex, you know. It was always on the cards the girl might talk. Can't be helped. There's no reason why the police should take her word against yours.
Well, shouldn't we do something about her?
Why? It's all over, isn't it?
And what did he mean about a psychiatrist? Robin's never seen anyone like that.
I've really no idea. I shouldn't worry about it if I were you.
Tell me, how's the financial situation?
Well, I've done as you advised me.
Good. Well, then you're all clear, aren't you? And, we'll keep in touch.
I suppose I will have to pay Lardner off.
You just mentioned to him the police have been round. You won't see Lardner for dust.
What, Squire? What's gone wrong? No money in my little betting box again Monday.
The police have been round here making inquiries.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Look, Squire, I think you're telling fibs.
Well, why didn't you stay? They said they'd be back later this evening.
You cunning lot of bastards. I'll send some friends round.
He was lying like a trooper. But she wasn't. No psychiatric social worker's been round there.
You better get stuck in with this Miss Williams then, hadn't you?
Right. Any news on Eddie Meakin?
Ah, not a trace. Can't get a thing out of Neckcross either. He's a smooth one, all right. Still think he needs tailing, though.
I'll put Miles onto it. He won't make the same mistake twice. Can you describe her to me?
What for?
I'd like to meet her.
Can't you just ask for her?
But she may cover a wide area, Leslie. And Williams is quite a common name. It's only to save me time.
Well, she was quite young and pretty, really. Woolly sort of hat. Mac.
Tall?
Not really. Slim, brown hair, you know, just ordinary.
Did she have a car?
A white Mini, I went in it.
To the police station?
Yeah. She said she'd wait for me, but she didn't.
Well, I think that's all, Leslie. Thanks for your help. There's no Miss Williams as described on the books of any educational establishment in Greater London. The boys' headmasters never heard of her. Anyway, they almost always use men.
Yeah. Looks like someone's nudging Mr. Oscroft backwards into the limelight. Wonder why. Perhaps I'd better help. We've not met before, but funnily enough, our paths have crossed in a way.
How?
A client of yours was helping me in my inquiries into the gold robbery a few weeks ago, Mr. Thomas Goodwin, the pilot. He told me that you'd very kindly handled his financial affairs. Arranged to buy a hotel, I think it was.
Oh, yes, I remember now. He's not one of my regular clients.
No. No. If there's any way at all that you can help me with my inquiries.
No, there isn't.
I was only going to say that if there was, this would be the time.
Now that Craddock's got his teeth into you, he'll never let you go. You realize that, don't you, Mr. Oscroft?
But you've got to help me.
Too late. You're a risk I can't afford to take. I'm sorry.
So now you're dropping me, just like that?
Just like that.
You haven't played fair with me.
Played fair.
When I agreed to this job, you let me believe it was simply a matter of leaving money in certain prearranged places, that my name would be kept out of it. Instead, these peoples, some of them, they know who I am. They pester me, they disrupt my life through no fault of my own. I think I've a right to a little protection, don't you?
You have no rights at all, old boy. Criminals don't have rights.
I'm not a criminal.
At the outset of our association, you let it be known that you weren't averse to fiddling a few figures.
For your grateful clients.
For which you were amply rewarded.
Well, I'm a good accountant. I trust my ability to keep out of trouble.
Which is why you were employed.
I'm not a cashier for hoodlums.
Now, what on earth do you mean by that?
I'm not entirely stupid. I know who I'm paying, and I know what they've done, and I want no part of it.
Well, it's a little late to think of that now, isn't it? You see, old chap, there is really very little difference between the man who robs on paper, like yourself, and the man who robs in other ways. It's only a question of degree. The only unforgivable sin in our little world is to make a mistake. And you've made it.
Well, if he gets me, he'll get you. Craddock will get you.
How? Oh, now, you wouldn't tell him, would you? Because that would be very, very silly.
Well, he'll find out. He'll dig and he'll scrape until he gets you.
You forget there's a difference between us. You can't escape. You haven't any money. You're vulnerable. I have money all over the world. I can go just like that, whenever I like. Look, Harold, isn't it time we talked a little sense? By the time Craddock's finished with you, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That's worth living. Your family will be broken in pieces. There'll be no money, no hope. And your son will be branded. On the other hand, if you were to confess to the police that you fiddled your own accounts because you were in debt, which is only the truth, what would you get? 3 years? And quite a lot of sympathy, funnily enough. And I'd see to it that your family was well looked after and that your son had every chance. And when you come out, I promise you a job. A very good job. And money.
So there you are. Full confession. All sealed and signed. In duplicate. Very thoughtful. An instruction book on how to embezzle 12,000 quid. Even a child could understand it.
Yeah. It's very neat. Very convenient. This confession's too full. The instruction book's a bit too easy to understand. There's something more, Tommy. Where's this Oscroft now?
Probably at home. He's been remanded on bail.
I'm going to talk to him.
You can't. It's not our case anymore.
See, someone was the paymaster for the gold robbers. Paid them all out, kept the accounts. He's probably an accountant just as respectable as you are. Some of them were paid in cash, used notes, but others were paid in different ways. Stocks and shares, freeholder properties. You know, house in Australia, hotel. This sort of person makes me sick. A smug little money man, hiding behind the skirts of the big boys and growing fat on their compost. Well, he's not a killer, not a sprayer of ammonia. Oh, dear me, no, he'd frown on that kind of violence. And for one good reason. It's a threat to him and his family and his whole way of life. And yet he's just the sort who feeds that violence. Encourages it to grow. It's hypocrisy for you, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Don't you think so, Mr. Oscroft?
You've really got nothing more to tell us.
You have my full statement. I have nothing further to say except in front of my solicitor.
Even his own partners have confirmed it. Oscroft's confession is true.
Even so. If he was the paymaster, he'd know the names of everybody on the robbery.
Well, here are the accounts he handled, just sent over from Fraud Squad. They wanted to know if the name Victor Anderson means anything to you. Have a look at this one.
Sporting and Financial Clubs Limited. Oh, they run that plush knocking shop, Les Diplomatiques. Chairman Victor Anderson.
Fraud Squad suspect him of having had mafia connections. Something to do with casinos in the Bahamas.
And Oscroft is Victor Anderson's accountant.
I'm shocked. I'm really very shocked and hurt. It's so much worse when a man that you've always regarded as the soul of honesty and integrity does a thing like this to you. I mean, I'm quite prepared to lose money. In my business, one has to be. But I strongly object to having it embezzled by one of my accountants.
Yeah, I'm sure. He claims that he got into trouble playing the stock market, gambling.
Yes. Not a very new story, is it?
No. Did he ever gamble here at all? At this club, I mean.
Hardly. He'd be a little out of his depth.
You mean socially?
Well, and financially. He's only an accountant.
Yes. But he must have had quite a good run of luck at one time. He has a very new £20,000 house in Wimbledon.
Do you think there's any chance of getting my money back?
I believe his partners will be making a statement about that in due course. There's some talk about his being blackmailed. I suppose you wouldn't have seen any evidence of that at all?
No, I wouldn't. But then his private life hardly impinged on my own. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Craddock, for coming to tell me the bad news. So often one gets it from the newspapers.
I think I've had a view of the man we're really looking for. If only I can get him, we're on our way. I want every damn thing on Victor Anderson and his business activities.
We mustn't let him know we're after him either.
If he's the man I think he is, he knows that already.